one of the best ways to get to know America is to drive through it, and my next guest knows a lot about that. Neil Mathison is a former naval officer and nuclear engineer, and he's also the author of this book, Airstream Country, which tells the story of his geologic journey across the western U.S. in an Airstream. And he joins me now. Thank you for being here.
I'm glad to be here, thank you.
Okay, so what kind of book is Airstream Country?
Well, it's a travel book. It's a book about the environment. It's a book about the West, the American West.
Amazing. And what does a geologic journey mean to you?
Well, I've always been fascinated with what I call high-end geology. And high-end geology is, why is a mountain range in this place? How does ice shape the Washington, Oregon, and Montana landscape? John McPhee is my inspiration for high-end geology because he wrote this glorious book called Annals of a Previous World, which is about the plate tectonic revolution. And that is where the pieces started coming together for high-end geology.
Gosh, so interesting. And so what called to you to make this journey, and why an Airstream?
Well, Susan and I are natives of Washington State, and I grew up traveling throughout the West. I like to joke that my parents didn't give me any stocks, bonds, real estate, but they did give us the American West. And so when Susan and I had our own son, we would camp throughout the West. When he finally finished his education, we decided it's time for us to revisit some of these places, but no more tents.
Amen.
And so an Airstream, I always wanted an Airstream, and I think certain things become iconic. I have always suspected if you hand a child a piece of paper and say, draw a picture of a camping trailer, it's going to look like an Airstream.
Definitely. And so you bought it back in what year?
2013.
It was before it became so popular. Now it's just blown up.
It's everywhere now.
Yeah. Okay, and what is different then about an Airstream and, instead of like maybe an RV?
Well, of course, there's nothing wrong with RVs, and you can make the same kind of journeys in any kind of RV, and I encourage people to do it. But the Airstream is, what I like about it, and especially our small one, is it's really simple. And I call it Zen trailering. Also when you're inside it, you feel like you're kind of in a Zen cone or something.
Right.
Because there's no rectangular surfaces, and the light is just beautiful in there. But Susan and I wanted simple.
Yeah.
And you can travel. I don't blame people who, cart along a lot of stuff, but we wanted simple.
Okay, you're a simple man. I like it. Which places best illustrate geologic travel to you?
Well, it really depends on what you're looking for. The Colorado Plateau is probably the classic example, because the Colorado Plateau, very strange thing, for all the beauty there and all the hoodoos and canyons and everything, the reason it's that way is because it had a very peaceful, by geological standards, history. And so the layers that are in the plateau tell a story that goes back, millions of years. And so I think Colorado Plateau is a good place to start.
Boom. Okay, and I want to get to this one. Where do you plan to take your Airstream next?
Next, I think, is June, and it's going to be a trip across the top of Washington, Idaho, Montana, into the Dakotas. There's a couple of national parks there. There's one I've never been to, which is in North Dakota. It's the Theodore Roosevelt National Park.
Yes.
And Susan's not been there either, and so we want to pick that one up. And we'll swing down through Wyoming, come back through Devil's Tower, and then, wander around.
Oh my gosh.
Wandering around is part of the deal.
It is. Well, you've inspired me. Who knows? You might see me in an Airstream. Thank you so much for being here.
It was my pleasure.